Welcome, Collective. This is a message for all signs, and I am grateful for your presence with me, however you came here. I am starting with a couple of oracle cards. I will use the tarot to set out the present, past, and future, and clarify with another tarot deck, and finish off with another oracle from the language of flowers. So I'm going to just see whatever Spirit has for us. And already on the table we have the Queen from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. And I'm going to read a little bit about the Queen. I'm getting a strong message, but I want to integrate it with some of what the author has written about it. So the Queen is described here, and I will do my best to neutralize gender language as being dualistic in nature, naturally, as most things are, presiding over a realm with a lot of grace, a lot of eloquence to uplift the spirits of others, and can also be petty or contemptuous when the Queen believes themselves to be superior to those they preside over, not common, elite. And so in that way, that can lead to a sense of contemptuousness, annoyance, irritability, can't be bothered with. But also, when she is rightfully claiming the throne, she's patient and forgiving. And that is understanding that her role is to model correct behavior, model productivity, model the power of love. So the grace of gods and goddesses move through her. They never need to strive or grasp for anything. There's no desperation in her centrality of empowerment. And so they are able to settle into trust, resolve, and power, claiming that throne as her rightful domain. It's interesting that this is coupled with the glyph oracle of number 33 may be important to you. 3 is the number of the Empress, a card that we associate with not only queens, but with love and balance of love. And 30 is love and heart. So this goes right to the visual image of the center of power, the center of giving and receiving, that there is a balance, a flow that is always being activated, even as the Empress appears to be passive. And I guess the main message that is coming through is this presumed passivity is actually this ability to move beyond relationships and to be open to receiving. This is being open to the universe, to the powers that be, to however you frame ultimate power in your life, ultimate consciousness. And this general energy is about all of the things that one does to be productive, to be in one's heart space, to be authentic and real, to exercise one's gift, will take you so far. But ultimately, a surrender is required, and that surrender is this ability to remain open to what is available beyond the known world. And I love this. I think this is a beautiful message for our particular times. I'm going to go ahead and look at the present card here, the Lady of Staffs. And so we have yet another queen here. This is the Queen of Wands in other decks. And this really is about the power of inspiration, of exploration, of adventure, of taking the lead, of moving forward, of being active, motion. So I very much like this. This is instructing us that sitting on a throne is not the work of a divine ruler or leader. The work of a leader is action. If it isn't acting themselves, it is in directing the action of others. So I feel like this is really important for many of you right now. You may be in a position of holding some power that you are still feeling your way through how to move this power into the world towards a success that you are aspiring to. And in the past, we have two cards, the Two of Cups and the Eight of Swords. So I'm seeing this as the relationship that you have developed with yourself in the past, and we understand that all relationships are a reflection of the self-regard we hold. And so at some point in your past, this was recognized that the uh, failed, disappointing, or hurtful relationships you had experienced were a part of some responsibility you held, some power you held in choosing or selecting those. And instead, you have attended to the relationship, the deeper connection to yourself and your potential, something that was difficult to gain access to in former relations. In other words, you may have been supporting the desire of others to their potential as opposed to a recognition and an activation of your own. So this is where you allowed yourself to dream, but along with that came a lot of anxiety, a lot of shoulds, a lot of the expectations of others, because your power was recognized early on in your life. This is, I'm not speaking to someone who has spent time not looking for purpose. That sometimes takes quite a while, but looking for a gift, looking for the thing they do well, looking for their talent. This is something others saw in you right away, and it has taken you quite some time to acknowledge that gift, because it was reflected back to you as a lot of expectations on the basis of this gift. In other words, this is sort of corralled into a general area of career responsibility or a certain lifestyle. A lot of voices in your head about what you should do, how you should do it, a lot of judgment about what you did do. So they're sort of wrapped up together in a way that has caused you many a sleepless night, and occasionally kind of bounces back on any progress you make, kind of brings up this anxiety about all the things you should do with this talent or gift that you have, this power that you are exercising. And maybe in some ways, a way that you have learned to keep yourself small in order to coexist with these various factors, these various strategists that were filling you up with expectations of their own. In the future, the Devil card. So we're taking our relationships in general and our relationship with ourselves. And as we move forward, feeling as though we are empowering, inspired by our gifts and possibilities that we are trying to remain open to, we find ourselves stepping into a very conventional, even polarized world or environment, a place where the old rules still seem to be the order of the day, and yet your understanding of the possibilities are greatly expanded beyond the norm, beyond the status quo. So this is an interesting dilemma I see you in. In some ways, it has you facing those old fears, those anxieties, those judgments from the past, and trying hard not to give them the power that you had in the past. Recognizing that these restrictions, these rules, this box is is outside of you, that you have your own authority. You do not accept the authority of this particular organization, profession, or even the status quo, the traditional norm, the social structures that be. Okay, so I hope that this is resonating for you so far, collective. Please like this video, share this with others if you feel inclined to do so, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I truly appreciate your presence here with me on this journey. I'm going to clarify the Two of Cups and the Eight of Swords in the past with two cards, please. The Two of Swords and the Ace of Wands, the Lady of Staffs or the Queen of Wands in the present. Two cards, please. We have the Star and the Devil in the future. Two cards, please. We have the Ace of Cups and the Page of Swords. Lovely. So here in the past, this deep work that you did in connecting yourself to yourself, in forming this honest and authentic bond with your higher self in many cases, this was something that had to be renewed recently. It isn't as though you never had a connection or relationship with yourself, but you had to renew this in light of new information you had. It isn't even just new information, it is a new conviction. This is like taking the step towards the classic dilemma that you have experienced in your past, where you are entering into what feels like a den of lions as you step up to the plate of who you truly are, who you truly want to be. And this puts you at a kind of a crossroads. And it isn't a crossroads that you've never been to before. You've been here in the past. But this time you decided to cross over. And that meant for you that this compulsion that you have long had, this attraction towards some hidden information, even that mystery of who you are and what your purpose is, called you with new clarity, with new conviction, as though this was a last chance. And now I don't believe there is ever a last chance, but it has felt that way in your past for you, that this is really the time to deal with this dilemma. Am I going to go the way that I know that that I chose, the life I chose, the path I chose when I came into this life? Or am I going to continue to pull along or stay concerned, stay small among those who are not moving in the direction I'm moving in, that don't have my concerns or cares, that are content in their lives in ways that I am not, I have never been. So I feel this kind of existential dilemma is actually made in the flesh in the past, where you had to step out into a place where you didn't feel like you had a lot holding you up, helping you, encouraging you, but you had at this point this powerful relationship to your own divinity, your own ancestors, your own guidance. And you relied on that, knowing that you had always had that. There's a lot here about, for those that I'm speaking to, and always knowing about this other alternative path that you were destined for, that you chose. In the present, the Devil and the Star clarifying, the Queen of Pentacles or the Lady of Staffs here. So it's interesting because the devil here is in your presence. So, and this makes some sense in terms of the way I'm seeing the devil here as the social constructs, the authorities and powers that be in the current moment, in a time that for many of us represents a time of social collapse, chaos, uh, the moral fabric is non-existent. Things are just being done by those who can do them rather than for a purpose. So this is no longer feeling represented by those who are intended to represent and serve us in the larger social order. And yet, you have a vision. Again, you have a vision that goes beyond what many tell you is just the way it is. You know better. You know that it is the way we allow it to be. It is the way we make it. We choose what it is. And that is not fashionable. That is not in alignment with the general social discourse right now. There's a lot of pushing back, a lot of protesting, a lot of uh, uh, declarations about the injustice that exists. But what you are, what holds you through this period is this vision, is this North Star, is this way that you know it can be better. We can make this better, but we have to address the general premise that motivates the status quo. The status quo is motivated by a zero-sum game. Some can have a lot, and most can have little to nothing. And that premise is being challenged by a vision that many hold. You are not alone in this vision by any means. It's just not where the social discourse leads us quite often. And this is where you understand that there is an abundance of resources in the planet, in the world. There is enough for everyone to be safe, comfortable, and nourished. And this is your vision. This is what animates you in the current moment. This is where you're leading, where you're going, what your understanding is giving you. In the future, the Devil card here is clarified by the Ace of Cups and the Page of Swords. And I love this because the Devil is here twice. And this is really kind of dominating the tangible material world that many of us experience day in and day out. However, what you bring to that through your vision is love, an awareness that love, that spirit, that guidance, that wanting to improve, wanting to be better, encouraging us to be better is part of the contribution that you are making in whatever way you make it, and that you really don't have a blueprint for this. There are ways, you have your own principles and code of ethics, but this is unknown territory, and not in a fearful way. You are highly motivated because of your experience, your skills, your inspiration to understand that love is supplied in a myriad of ways that cannot be controlled by market forces. So this is you recognizing that each and every one of us can contribute to a gentler, more tender, more playful, more imaginative experience in the world. And you're doing your best to activate that gift, that experience, that expression of love from a place of your own knowledge of self, the wisdom you've gained through life, your ability to research with the powerful technology we have at our disposal. There is the information, all the information in the world exists theoretically at our fingertips. So this is where you are empowered by not knowing. You don't need to know. You only need to know that this is possible. Love is possible. I'm going to finish up this reading with a Language of Flowers oracle. And the bird of paradise says self-acceptance. You are so much more. I love this. I truly do. I do think that the queen in many ways represents a sort of gendered norm that we hold around feminine or female experience. And I know that I have probably slipped in my language in places, but the idea is that no one is less than anyone else, but accepting who you are is the beginning place to being able to exercise your powers, your gifts, your contribution to the world. So thank you for this beautiful reading. Until next time, namaste.